Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another video. Let's dive right in. Shoo! All right, what's up, everybody? Today we're going to be dealing with herbicides. We're going to go over it. It's not going to be a very long video, but it's a good one because it's needed. I've been waiting for this. We hashed out a lot of the things we needed to do, and there's some good and some negatives, but those are for other videos. But right now, we need to take care of the weeds because, oh, God. This is horrible. The weeds is horrible. Anyway, I'm going to be using some liquid herbicides. We're going to be dealing with two. We're going to be dealing with selective and non-selective. But right now we're going to talk about non-selective herbicides. So non-selective herbicides is where it doesn't matter what you're spraying it on, it's going to kill it. Just put it that way. We're going to be mixing up the vinegar cocktail. Yes, it's that home DIY product. And I feel that this is a good one to talk about because a lot of the new lawn care people out there like myself, it's a useful recipe and it works. So we're going to deal with that. So let's talk about what goes into this cocktail. 1, it's vinegar. 2, salt, and then dish soap. Now, there's 2 versions that people use. You use that 20 to 30%, the strong stuff. So you use a gallon of the 20-30% vinegar, and I believe it's a 1-to-1. 1 gallon of vinegar, 1 gallon of water. Then you put 2 cups of Epsom salt, and then 2 tablespoons of dish soap, I believe. But we're going to tone it down a bit, and we're going to use what I have in the house, which is the household 3 to 5%. We got a gallon of that. And then we just got some table salt. 2 cups of this, and we are good. And then some dish soap that I'm going to be grabbing. Now, one thing that you guys are going to need for sure, measuring cup. So I bought these at Ace. These are more for paint, but they have the ounces for liquid. They have cups. It has all the measurements here that I need. So that's good. Yeah. Anyway, get something to measure it with, and then we're good to go. So yeah, but this is a new sprayer, and I want to see how it works. So we're also going to dive in to the DeWalt 2-gallon pump sprayer. This is about $35, $38 at Home Depot. Not expensive at all. Yeah, you got to pump it, but way cheaper than the electric sprayers. And I don't want to use my backpack sprayer because that is for the fertilizers, fungicides, stuff like that. So I don't want to use that. So yeah, we're going to dive right into this, but we need to know how it works. So let's head over to the spigot and get this filled up with water. Let's do it. So we're going to go ahead and unscrew this right here. We're just going to go ahead and unscrew it. Pop it out. Oop. And then pop it right out. So we're good to go. And we're going to put 1 gallon. We're going to put 1 gallon in that. So let me move the camera. Let's move the camera to where we're outside. How's that? Yeah, sorry if it was bright. So let's put some water in this bad boy. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and fill this up to about a gallon, right? And then we're gonna test the nozzle. Even it doesn't have to be exactly a gallon for me because I'm using that 3 to 5%. All right. So let's go. I love that hose. So if you can grab a hose that has that valve on it, that's the way to go. See? That's the way to go. All right, let's get this screwed on. If you guys notice, I got my well, if you guys probably don't see it, but I got my slippers on. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and pump it, and we're gonna see how this does. All right. Let's dive right in. I got neighbors. Like, what is this guy doing? I'm making a video, bro. I'm making a video. All right. So we're going to pump this and see what the spray. I want to make sure that it's going to spray in the direction I want. So I'm going to be doing a coating. So I'm not going to be doing spot spraying. So I got the nozzle here. So we're going to go ahead and pump it. There you go. Pump it up. All right, so you need to test the equipment if you're going to be coating and using like fertilizers and stuff, or if you're going to be using that selective stuff. You want to make sure you know how it's coating and kind of how the equipment works. So it's like spray painting. You got to have that right layer. So if you're walking like this, you keep the sprayer like that and you just walk. You don't want to do this to where if you're going to be spraying and you're doing that, you're widening up that the spread, and two, you're not going to get an even layer going down like that. So you got to make sure that you are walking along with it, so that way you get that equal coverage. So now that we got it, it's working. Good. Now let's dive right in and let's put the vinegar in. All right. So we're good. Can you see it? Why is the okay? Tracking's good. All right. So we got the so we figured out how to use it. Now again, when you're doing the sprayer, you got to keep it at the right distance, and then you got to walk with it. You don't want to just kind of do that because you're not going to get an even spray. All right, so what we're going to do, this has now that I'm on somewhat level, I have just slightly less than a gallon, but let's go grab some dish soap and deal with this. Now that we got everything together, we got the water in there. Let's talk about PPE for this type of stuff. So since this is the 5%, 3 to 5% vinegar with some salt and dish soap, I'm not going to be needing a respirator, but I am going to be using gloves. You know, you always want to make sure your hands are protected. Now, when it comes to respirators, if you're using concentrates like from Spectracide, Roundup, or really any of that strong stuff, you're definitely going to want yourself some organic filters, organic vapor filters, and you want yourself a mask. So I'm not going to be needing this, or I'm not going to be using it because, one, this is just household products, and to be honest with you, if we needed a mask for that, then we've been cooking with that stuff for years, and that's not good. And again, if they say like, oh, salt and vinegar, again, I put salt and vinegar in food all the time. So anyway, not saying you shouldn't. If you want to, go ahead and use it, but I'm definitely using gloves, eye protection, if you want to use a long sleeve. But if I was using that 20 to 30% stuff, oh yeah, I definitely would be using all that crap. I do not want to get burned. So now that I have tested this, the pressure, when you pump this, the pressure builds up in this unit, which forces the water out the hose and it shoots out. That's just how it works. And I don't want to release this with the pressure built up in it. So there's a pressure release here. And if you're going to be getting yourself a pump spray, I don't know if all pump sprays have it. It makes sense if they do, but if they don't, make sure you find one with a release valve. And what you want to do is you just want to release it to where the pressure is released, because you don't want to unscrew it with that pressure. One, it's going to be hard, and two, you know, it's going to shoot out this way, and that's not good. So we're going to go ahead and put this down a little bit. So now that we're able to just, since this just have water on it, I'm going to put it on the table. So we're going to go ahead and dump the vinegar in there. Ooh, ugh. Okay. Even the 3 to 5% is kind of strong. So just imagine the 20 to 30%. And then we're going to get the 2 tablespoons, or sorry, the 2 cups of salt. We're going to go ahead and we're going to eyeball this, but 2 cups is what you need. Burn and dry those leaves out. And that's what the vinegar is going to do. The vinegar is going to burn and the salt is going to dry out. I believe that's how it's working. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 tablespoons, but we're going to eyeball it. And the dish soap is used as a surfactant. So if you don't know what a surfactant is basically what's going to help keep those leaves coated. And now we're gonna go ahead and, oh God, this is gonna stink so bad. And I got 2 gallons here, and I am going to spray it all over the areas that I need to. Now, from there, I'm going to shake it up. Shake it. Shake it. Shake it. All right, now that it's shooken up, let's start coating. Let me put some pants on and put some boots on so that way that stuff doesn't get on my feet. Because 1, I just don't want vinegar sitting on my body in I don't care what it is. I don't want vinegar on my body. And 2, I don't want to smell like it. So I'll be right back. We're going to get everything set up so we can go outside, and we're just going to spray. So, and then what's going to happen is I'm going to wait 24 hours, and then we're going to see how it works. But right after we spray, we're going to come back here, and we're going to talk about selective herbicides and show you what I have for a selective herbicide. All right, so we're going to go ahead and grab the sprayer, and we're going to take it outside. I think my camera is going to overheat, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I think my camera's going to overheat, but we're going to try it. So let's get this out there, and then I'll bring the camera out. All right, I think we're good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pump, hit this line right here, and then we're going to turn back around. We're just going to hit the perimeter of the house. So let's go. And it's windy, so if you're dealing with stuff like this and it's windy, you want to make sure that, especially if you're spraying a non-selective like this, you either wait until the wind goes down or you get really close. But you definitely should be wearing a respirator if you're using that strong stuff. That's definitely a must. You definitely don't want to be downwind of that crap. Fucking stinks. And another thing about this is that the sun really helps the strength of this. So we're going to see how much this works. Now you also want to be careful with the wind, because if you got that really, really strong stuff and it touches your grass, it's going to kill your grass too. So be very careful with the wind. Wind is definitely something to keep in mind of. I think I definitely got more than I need. Got to kill this grass right here. So I'm definitely interested in seeing what this does over here. I definitely got to soak this area. Now, is this going to kill it down to the root? I'm not sure. But if this is just something I have to do, is just come by and do a treatment of the perimeter. Eventually, right now it's just so overwhelmed with weeds, I have to do a coating, but hopefully eventually I'll just do a spot spray. I screwed up and didn't use gloves, but I didn't get wet, luckily. So yeah, we're gonna wait 24 hours and then we'll see. So let's dive right back into the garage because the sun is beaming, which is actually gonna be good for this type of mix. So when you're gonna apply this stuff, it definitely needs sun. It's gonna strengthen the effects. So let's get back in. It smells like freaking vinegar everywhere. Let's put that out there. Gross. All right. Yeah, we went ahead and we coated everything. It was super fast. So, you know, this definitely helps. Now, just word of advice, it smells like vinegar everywhere right now. My nose is kind of burning, so you might want to wear a mask. So I'm going to go ahead and retract that. Wear a mask. Some of you are probably like, you should have wore a mask, bro. But yeah, for sure. All right, so now we're going to talk about selective herbicides. So depending on your state, depending where you're located at, selective herbicides, if you get into the concentrate, may be illegal. So, like, for example, I can't get tenacity, speed zone, or T-zone here, so that resorts me to do a bit more, or that forces me to do a bit more research. However, they allow the big box brands. So this one that I have is a selective herbicide, but this is a big box brand. It's Spectracide. And this is going to be for really close to my lawn area. So if there's weeds in my lawn, right around the mulch area, that's kind of what I'm going to be using this for. Now this has an actual spray nozzle to it, so it's not a big deal. Now if you're spot spraying, you know, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to wear a mask with this. So, but I'm not going to be doing it today because it is windy right now, and I don't want all this stuff spraying all over me. So, but it's safe for lawns, so I'm not worried about the overspray getting into the lawn, you know. But I have heard that even things like this that says, you know, weed stop for lawns or weed killer for lawns and stuff like that, it can still kill your lawn. So follow the directions, and you know, just know that something may happen and you may, you know, kind of stress your lawn out there. But yeah, this is another one. This is a selective herbicide, and hopefully this works. I'm going to spray it later on today to see how it works, but right now it is very windy and it is pretty warm, so I'm just going to chill and let the vinegar do its thing, because I think I've already got enough shit in my face right now that I don't want to deal with the vinegar. And boy, do I need to. I'm gonna roll up my I'm gonna bring up my garage door because it smells like vinegar in here. All right, so I got my garage doors up, and we're gonna hopefully this airs out. But I got everywhere drenched right now. So when the vinegar dries up, you shouldn't be smelling the vinegar anymore. So this is probably just the remnants of that wind blowing those fumes in, and whew, it is strong. So vinegar is vinegar. So yeah, this is right here is going to be for my lawn and around it, very close vicinity. So those are the couple of things that you need to look out for in the summer when it comes to like kind of controlling certain things in your lawn. And that's leading me into talking about now, what is the things that I've learned when it comes to summer, other than making sure your lawn is fed before the heat. Two things you're going to be dealing with during the warm season, when that heat comes, the disease pressure will rise and these weeds will thrive in the summer. So if you already have a struggling lawn, just know weeds are definitely going to be popping up. So having something like this, selective herbicides and the non-selective herbicides to kind of control the area around, this is going to be very useful for you. And preventative measures is the best measure for defense. And right now I'm playing catch up because my lawn has disease growing on it. And that is what happens when the warm season comes. That disease pressure will rise. And if you don't act on it, disease can come, especially if you're watering your lawn. So like, for example, I have lawn rust and I'm going to be spraying some fungicide down. But lawn rust, it happens when the leaf doesn't get dry and it's in a shaded area, but it's warm. So all of that together will generate that kind of disease and it'll spread. So lawn rust in specific initially won't kill your lawn, but it's definitely going to discolor it and it's going to weaken it. And eventually, if you don't do anything about it, it's going to spread and it's going to do some harm to your lawn for sure, if not kill the grass. So those are two things that I feel that I've learned now with the spring and summer, is that springtime, you're going to be battling weeds. So come the fall, you need to make sure that you have your weed control in check. And same thing with disease, being able to drop those preventative measures. And we're going to be going over fungicides in the next video, which I'm probably going to record tomorrow, because I need to drop some fungicide down because we got lawn rust. And if lawn rust is forming, I'm assuming that other diseases are forming as well. That's what I'm assuming. So I got a multi-purpose fungicide and we're going to go over that. So let's wait for about 24 hours and I'll get back to you guys and see what the vinegar mix does. I guess it's a waiting game now. But yeah, I'll see you here in a few. So that way we can see some after effects and see how long it takes for that vinegar and see how well the vinegar does. So before we go and check out the after effects, let's talk about something that, just in case the vinegar doesn't work, you can use this, another non-selective concentrate. Now there's a bunch out there. I'm using these popular brands, and then eventually I'm going to be ordering that other stuff. You have your selectives and you have your non-selectives. So if you want to treat your lawn and not want to kill it, and you just want to kill the weeds, you go for something they call selective herbicides. Now, if you just want to kill everything off, even with your grass, you want to kill everything off, you go with the non-selective herbicide. Let's fast forward to tomorrow and see what the vinegar does. All right, what's up? Good morning, everybody. It's almost 8 a.m. and we are gonna check out, see what the vinegar does. So let's go. So if you see here, it killed, it's working, less than 24 hours, it's working. Look at that. Look at that. definitely killed the weeds. It's not it needs some time on the other ones, but it is killing the leaves. So I went over and I sprayed a spot right in between, right there. Just sprayed a little spot. You see it dying right there, and you see how green that is. Just to let you know, less than 24 hours. This is like, I think, 19 hours. I think 19 hours. There's the grass right there. It was way green. Way green. Look at that. Oh my God. So I was spraying around in areas that you didn't see yesterday, but there's this area that was like big weeds. I don't know what they're called, but I wanted to see. Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna work that fast, but here, check it out. Check it out, y'all. Check it out. Right there. Boom. Those weeds right there. They were big, broad, healthy. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Killed it. It's killing it. Sorry, I'm getting used to this gimbal. Yeah, and sorry about the quality of this video. Working the mirrorless is a process right now, so I'm getting to learn it though. I'm getting to learn it. But now let's dive into the garage. Let's talk about some more things, and then we'll conclude the video. So let's go. Shoo! Damn, focus. Damn, I don't focus. Okay, so a few things that I feel that is worth noting. One is when you use the vinegar herbicide, the vinegar cocktail, the 3 to 5% seems to be working very, very well. I did put quite a bit on there, so you know that could be it, where I just put a bunch. Now, a couple things. One, I do recommend wearing a respirator because that fumes. If you get caught downwind by accident, my nose was burning for a little bit. You don't want to breathe that much stuff in there. And I think it's just safety wise, wear your gloves, wear boots, or protect your legs, protect your feet, and wear a respirator with some safety glasses. You definitely don't want to get vinegar in your eyes at all, bottom line. And two, be aware of the smell. I still smell a hint of it when I get to that general area, and it can be quite annoying, but that smell is going to be out there, and it's strong. So that's another thing. And yeah, do you need to use the 20 to 30%? Well, I guess depends on how much weeds that you're trying to spray, or how big that spray is going to depend on that. But as of right now, the 3 to 5% with the table salt, it worked. It worked really well. As you can tell, it took out a patch of grass. It took out some big broadleaf weeds. And that's a non-selective herbicide. Remember, non-selective, it basically kills all plants that it touches. And that's the thing right there, where if you want to get rid of something and you don't want to use these big box brands with all those chemicals, the vinegar, it works. It definitely works. Now, there are some plants here that I did spray right on front of my house that it's still working. So you're definitely going to have to reapply on some. With this type of vinegar mix, you're probably going to have to reapply, and that's just something I knew going into it. But yeah, that's about it. So the next video, which I'm going to probably start filming today, is we're going to talk about lawn disease and fungicides on how to take care of it. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and if you are enjoying the content, join the community. Drop a subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you think. Any advice is welcome, because I am really new to this, and I'm playing catch up. That's the thing about being new, is I'm playing catch up to all of this. And next year I'm really excited because I have a plan. I'm already planning fall. I'm already planning winter. I'm already planning spring and summer, next summer. I already kind of know what to do for next summer, and we're gonna go from there. So see you guys on the next one. Peace.